So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be discussing Kim Kardashian telling women to get up and work. So this definitely came out about a month ago. I am late, but I was on a hiatus. But I have been watching reruns of America's Next Top Model on Hulu. And once I got burnt out from the show and took a break, the next thing that came up was the Kardashians' new show. And I realized, I remember Kim Kardashian saying that women should get up and work. And now they have their new show. And I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like, I think it is better than the one that was on TV, now that it's on streaming, but it's really interesting to see the focus that they put on these women working. The show kind of chronicles each of the sisters and the mom and all of the different jobs and work that they do now. It's less about the drama and like how it was back in like the early 2000s where they were just this ditzy little family who was emerging themselves into fame. And it's more or less now to prove that they are solidified A-listers, businesswomen, and so forth. So you see Kim and Khloe and Kourtney working on these different projects and it's like, okay, you guys are working women in business, but Kim Kardashian made this statement and I still think we can bring that back up, especially for somebody like me who likes to get into it. So Kim Kardashian and her sisters and her mom were being interviewed, and as iconic as they are as women in pop culture for good and bad reasons, it still kind of shocks me that they are as big as they are. I mean, that's why I say regardless if you like them or not, I'm always going to give them credit because they took what would have been and what should have been 15 minutes of fame and turned it into an empire and are bigger than some of the biggest people who have socially respectable careers in entertainment. During this interview, Kim Kardashian says that she has the best advice for women in business, and that is for us to get our effing A's up and work. She then says that nobody wants to work anymore and that even in a toxic work environment, you have to do the work. Now, I think this message is subpar, whether it comes from Kim Kardashian or not, because that's just way easier said than done, which I'll get into. But I also feel that this was severely tone deaf, and pretty much everyone else who heard it thought the same thing, and I wanted to take an approach to this as a woman in business myself. So I've broken this video down into one overall main talking point, so let's get right into this video. So my one and only overall main talking point is okay message, wrong messenger. I know sometimes we say great message, wrong messenger, a good message, wrong messenger. So I think this is an okay message with a terrible messenger, actually. For obvious reasons, the message is not coming from the right delivery. Like, honestly, back to sender, back to sender, back to sender, okay? Kim Kardashian literally did get her ass up and work, and that's because her ass was lifted high in the air in doggy style while she was taking back shots from Ray J. And that's essentially what put her on. And I'm not even saying that to be shady, I'm just keeping it real. And even within the tape that she made with Ray J all of those years ago, Kim Kardashian used Ray J's mother's credit card to basically jumpstart her career. At the time when she was probably making average money, she allegedly stole over $150,000 on Ray J's mother's credit card, all of which I think she has since paid back. But I watch a lot of the deep dive videos on pop culture icons, even the ones that are not black. And when I heard the story, it was actually news to me. So there's a video on YouTube called the Kim Kardashian Story, and it's on a YouTube channel called Poppy Kana, and it's golden. I mean, it's 1 hour long, but he describes Kim Kardashian's rise to fame from start to finish, and I think it's really well put together, even if you don't like the Kardashians. And I watched it a few months ago, and I was surprised to know about the whole stealing of $150,000 to jumpstart her career by way of Ray J's mom's credit card, because this family does come from money. Their dad was a top lawyer, and they had wealth from day one. So granted, this thievery of the credit card took place after their father's passing, but they still were left with money. And even when their mom remarried, she remarried a famous athlete who was an Olympian with sponsorship deals and so forth. So this family has never been without money, and they never really understood the essence of getting it out the mud or having a certain type of work ethic. And I'm not mad at the fact that they have privilege, because I don't think people should be mad at the fact that people have privilege, because people can't always avoid having privilege the same way people can't always avoid having or being born into misfortune. The cards are dealt for people before they are born, and you have to live with what you're born into. So them having upper hands and jumpstarting their careers, whether it was through stealing this $150,000, having a father who was a wealthy lawyer, having a stepfather who was a famous athlete, is completely beneficial to how their careers are today. Like, even excluding the fact that she got most of her fame from the sex tape with Ray J, they may have not been as wealthy as they are today, but they were still bound to be well off even without the fame and the riches. And a lot of people can take their 15 minutes of fame and extend it, but they extended that into a full-length film versus a 15-minute clip. So Kim Kardashian is the wrong messenger to tell women to get up and work, and that women don't want to work because it's obvious that she came from privilege. But the second half of this being an okay message is because I don't think she considered some of the historically restricting elements that women have gone through for at least a century, if not more. Women, or maybe I should say white women, began working around the 1930s during the Second World War, when men were absent from the workplace and fighting in the war overseas. So the women work labor movement began when those jobs still needed to be carried out to continue productivity within the economy. And upon men's return from the war, many single women continued their jobs, and women's place in the workforce just continued to develop. Women didn't always have a place in working, and even so, for Black women or just women of color, we for sure never had a direct place. Even during the time of women meshing into the workforce, we were given the lesser jobs or jobs that were traditionally held by women. So being a hairstylist, being a housekeeper, being more of the help than the boss. Women were often teachers or nurses, and that was the top positions for women all of these years until maybe about the 80s. Now, I'm only 24 years old, so I can't accurately speak on a personal recount of women in the workforce at high levels, but I do my research, and I'm a history nerd and know that a woman's place in the workforce is pretty much determined by men. Recently, there was an article that came out about how the NFL here in America is requiring for at least one minority woman to be hired in offensive coaching in the NFL. All of these things are happening because women have been working hard to be accepted into spaces that are traditionally held by men that they actually qualify for. I don't necessarily think that women should be required to do a job because we want diversity. You should be qualified for that job. So I've been seeing women as referees in the NFL and in the NBA when I watch a game, and I've been seeing women at the top of political positions as well as top lawyer positions and so forth. And this has become because women as a collective understand that in most cases we are more educated than men. We have more ability to multitask the home and the job. And although they say men are providers, if you ask me, women are providers in the sense where we do everything that actually matters, such as take care of the family, and a lot of cases put food on the table. Now, I don't want to go too deep into history, but I felt that it was socially tone deaf and historically tone deaf for Kim Kardashian to make a statement that women don't want to work when women have been the ones taking over jobs and breaking the glass ceiling for decades now. So in a month like Women's History Month or International Women's Month, when she said this, it's severely offensive for a woman who has been granted privilege, has benefited from nepotism, as well as used her sex appeal and body to get her where she is, to tell average women what they are doing wrong, instead of acknowledging the fact that many women are doing really well right now. A lot of these academic accolades and job force accolades have been going to women within the last decade, and it's not because it's a sorry gift from men, it's because it's well-deserved by women. So when I say the message is okay, it's because I do think that us women have been getting our effing asses up and working for the longest. I do think that women are being hired more frequently than before. I do think that women are proving that they qualify for jobs traditionally held by men. I do think that women are capable of becoming entrepreneurs and being successful in business because we've been seeing it. Even from things that people are doing at the masses, such as lash techs, nail techs, hairstylists, selling bundles, selling clothes from China. We've seen so many women, especially Black women, have so much success in doing these things. Even as far as the rapper baby mama culture, it's like, okay, you have a baby by a rapper, and now you've been able to turn that situation into having money and fame and businesses. And I always say that I can respect it, and I think it's commendable. Women are not just sitting on their asses, because if we were, all of these historical components that serve how capable and qualified we are would not be happening. So I'm not sure if Kim K is aware of the current condition of the modern working woman, but if you ask me, we're doing a damn good job in comparison to where we were before and in comparison to a lot of men. I think if we go to the worst hood in the United States and we look at a 25-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman, that woman is more likely doing way more than what that man is doing in regards to work, providing, and trying to make something out of her situation. So I feel like this energy of her saying that women are not wanting to get up to go to work is false, because if we're talking about urban pop culture, a lot of these men are just scamming now. If you're not rapping and you're not throwing a ball, you're scamming, or you're making a podcast about why you hate women, but that's another video for another day. Of course, we have a lot of Black men who are doctors and engineers and business owners and so forth, but the amount of women who are known for being entrepreneurs and owning businesses has seen a great rise as well. So no, I'm not going to discredit women and Black women in particular, because I have seen over the past 5 to 10 years a lot of women in business being successful, or at the very least starting something, whereas maybe 30, 40, or 50 years ago that was not the case. I don't know who Kim Kardashian was talking to or looking at when she said that women do not want to work. I've never seen this. Maybe the yes men and the groupies that she knows and is used to don't want to work because they want to live under a man who has money and fame, I see that as well. But if we're talking about the common woman, we're working. We're doing our jobs. I truly think Kim Kardashian is an example of elitism and nepotism at its finest. I'm not going to excuse what she said and write it off as she didn't mean it like that, because she meant it like that. She was very firm and aggressive in her tone, and to do it in such a way that doesn't acknowledge how far women have come, especially during a month that is meant to recognize women all over the world, it was just all around wrong. And apart from her dabbling in black spaces in offensive ways, such as wearing makeup that is too dark for her or wearing hairstyles that are black hairstyles and misnaming them, I actually have no issue with Kim Kardashian, and I like the fact that her work ethic is pretty good. But her work ethic is what it is because she had the privilege of people being able to do a lot of that work for her because she can afford it. I'm pretty sure if she donated $20,000 to 200 women-owned businesses, she would see how well women work and how much women want to be successful at business. Being an entrepreneur myself and having my brand through YouTube as well as my modeling agency, it is a lot of work. Some days I don't know if I should choose YouTube or should I choose my modeling agency, and oftentimes, as y'all know, I do choose my modeling agency over YouTube, hence why sometimes I take long breaks. But I'm learning to balance the two and have a life outside of YouTube because I love being an entrepreneur. I love working with and for other women, and there has been a historical absence of black women like me having businesses that are solely for women that are colored like myself. So that's the drive that keeps me going, and I don't have any handouts. I just did my taxes and I looked at how much I spent on the models, and I'm like, girl, you have got to get your expenses down. Like, that was a lot of money. So Kim starting with the privilege of money and then graduating to the privilege of fame and even more money does not compare to what the average woman is doing. If you heard that message as a woman in business, I'm sure you were super offended because it is so much harder for us in business and we're always having to prove ourselves. The hardest thing about being a model agency, especially trying to break urban models in an urban environment, is dealing with men. Most times when I deal with women who are trying to employ my models, it's a pretty good transaction. But when I'm dealing with men, it's usually rappers or some type of musical artist, and they either don't want to pay the girls what they're worth, or they want the girls to do absurd things, or they inquire and then waste my time. And I've had to realize that men don't spend as much as women, even though men are given higher salaries before a woman for the same exact position. A woman would have to prove herself 3 times more than a man for the same job, the same task, or the same idea before it's respected. And we've been overcoming these barriers and hindrances for years, and I think she should have acknowledged that. I did see that she did apologize, but her apology should have been, hey, I'm gonna donate $20,000 to 200 women-owned businesses and find some way to highlight women in business who are working hard and have a good work ethic. That's what I think she should have done. But of course, I can't tell her what to do. Either way, it was very tone deaf, and I want to acknowledge that if you are a woman in business, I do feel your struggle. I know how hard it is, and just keep working hard. I wanted to quit YouTube years ago. I didn't quit, and now I live comfortably off of it after working hard and working smart. So if you have a passion for what you do, just keep doing it. Women do work hard. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What do you know? Let me know. Also, as I mentioned, I do have a modeling agency called The Queen Team Models. If you are a business owner, brand owner, you have a service, a product, and you want some beautiful women to promote you, we do have an affordable promotional deal going on right now. Please DM us on Instagram and we will work something out with you. Super excited, and the ladies always appreciate it. And lastly, don't forget to stream my song Ballin'. As you all know, it is out on all platforms. Definitely keep streaming Ballin'. We going up this summer, okay? And I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.
Few bands for a feature, some of my money know they for you. Chioma, I'm hot, I bring water to a boil.